There we are. No, or we have.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Laurie Bennett, and here is Jim McIlvaine, who is our fantastic auctioneer and host for this second half of our Celebrating Connection auction. We have this auction every other year. It's the first time we've ever tried to run it completely online. And we are really looking forward to entertaining you tonight with what is been happening. I've been gone. A lot of people have been gone in the last 18 months. St. John's will never be the same as it was in February of 2020, but I know it'll be better. And that's why I was willing to chair this auction and show our parish, families and friends and neighbors that we can move into the future with great opportunity. And now is the time to invest. And Jim, will you please explain how we're going to be able to do that?
Good evening, everybody. Wasn't that wonderful with Sean and Carolyn? They were did this wonderful cocktail hour. It was just absolutely terrific. So it's good to see all your smiling faces during this wonderful social hour together. So for the next hour or so, you're going to be hearing about a lot of the various incredible programs here at St. John's through video testimony and presentations. Now, many of these short videos that you will be seeing tonight have been produced by Directa Productions. And I think you all know who that is, don't you? Right. You'll have a chance to support these programs most dear to you with your pledge of financial support. That could be the music program, it could be the all-new live streaming worship service, the youth program, or the drive-through Christmas program, and there's many others we'll be discussing tonight. You'll be invited to offer your pledge through the chat portion of this Zoom call on your computer screen. So down below, if you haven't quite found it yet, just hover your mouse at the bottom, you'll see chat, and you'll be able to offer your pledge. Be nice if you could remind us if it's for the music program, if it's for youth. We'll be taking each program individually, and then you can offer your pledge of support then. I think most of the names look pretty normal. We're not getting any of those squiggly 487. We don't know who the heck you are. So that'll be better, easier, and quicker to trace your pledge back to you in live. Someone will be capturing all the chat, so we'll be able to track that very easily. At the end, in about a week or so, you'll get an invoice for everything for the online pledging and these live pledges here tonight. There's an incredible selection of silent auction items at our online bidding service called Bidding Owl. So go to biddingowl.com/St. John's Oakland. Make sure you register there, give us all your information, and then scroll through the variety of incredible items. There are some things, items you can purchase, such as a series of goins, paintings, posters, dinner of 8 provided by Lori and Tim Johnson, a 4-night stay at the Cadwallader House and Sea Ranch, and many, many other great items, jewelry, custom tours, wine tasting, excursions, and so much more. Plus, there's the, as a part of the incredible gifts, there's also the wonderful gatherings I think Lori was talking about earlier, some of which are already sold out. So click along there, look and see what you've got. There's a Labyrinth Walk with Ann Meyer, a men's social event at Ken Fuller's, and many, many others. So consider collecting maybe a handful of folks together to create a syndicate to bid on some of these items. You can do that on the online platform or live here tonight. So one thing I'd like to do, I'd like to challenge each and every one of you to make at least one bid this evening through this live platform that we have. Can you at least make one pledge during this Zoom gathering? Can you do that? I'll be monitoring the chat as the pledges come in. So Lori, I think we're ready to kick this off. Can you start our evening with some highlights of the church's incredible programs?
Sure, we're going to start with landscaping, because landscaping actually began before the pandemic, and it was already transforming our gardens and grounds with tree removal, planting deer-resistant seasonal gardens, installing a watering system. You saw in the introduction video some of what's been happening, and now here's more.
Hi, my name's Katie Kroger and I'm on the Landscape Committee here at St. John's. The vision of our Landscape Committee is to beautify the grounds and in particular take care of the meditation garden. We meet on the first Saturdays of every month at 9 a.m. to do some maintenance and weeding and gardening, so come join us.
So this year, due to COVID, we haven't spent as much in the annual budget, mostly just having some really amazing work days with this incredible hardworking crew. Hopefully the group will get together and do another major planting in 2022. Both funding and volunteer support are always important. The next garden party is Saturday, September 11th at 9 a.m. Outstanding. These videos produced by Directa, you'll be enjoying many of them throughout the evening. That's just a small sample. You're lucky on landscaping, we're not actually doing pleasure support on this particular program, so we're going to move into one that really, really deserves a lot of attention and time, effort, resource, and your pledges. So before the shutdown, St. John's music program was absolutely flourishing. Adult and children choirs were rehearsing weekly and on Sunday mornings. Our music director, Ben Riggs, explains the importance of a robust music program here at St. John's.
Hi everybody, my name is Ben Riggs. I am the Director of Music here at St. John's in Oakland. What an amazing and incredible year it has been this past pandemic season. The music program here at St. John's has had to really be nimble and move online, which we did with our Zoom chancel choir rehearsals and our fantastic monthly hymn sings that we held on Zoom and our sung evening prayers. But you know what? I am really looking forward to getting back in person, which hopefully we'll be able to do this fall. Some in-person singing, getting our chancel choir back together, all of our youth choirs, and then providing musical leadership at our in-person Eucharist services on Sunday morning. We can't do that without your help and support, and just know personally how much I value that. So I hope you will consider bidding extravagantly at the auction and giving generously to support the amazing music program here at St. John's. Thanks, everybody.
We are so blessed and so lucky to have Dr. Ben Riggs as our music director here at St. John's. And we can't wait to be back live in person. So just as a reminder, contributions from you tonight will go into the music fund that will pay for guest musicians and instrumentalists and another video. outstanding, absolutely terrific. And just during that video, we've already gotten our first pledge of support from Sylvia and Pat for $200 toward the music fund. Absolutely fantastic. I want to remind everybody something you may not know, that this fall, the Saturday evening service will be returning beginning on October 2nd. With that will be the inclusion of a live three-piece band to help lead the worship service. Your contributions tonight will go into the music fund and we'll be able to fuel that ministry and pay for musicians at this monthly incredible Saturday evening service. The group that Deacon John has found and hired and is working with is the renowned Vine Band from Grace Cathedral. Very high quality and inspirational to round out this unique worship service. So who can support the music fund tonight for a $500 pledge? Do I have a $500 pledge? I see $100 from Cheryl, that's great, and $100 more from the Evagers, fantastic. But let's see if somebody can get up there to the $500 level. It's a $500 level we're looking for right now. Can anybody help support the music fund tonight? Some of the inspirational, some of the true reasons a lot of us come to St. John's on a weekly basis is to hear that incredible pipe organ, an amazing choir, that fantastic liturgy of song and hymns that we have. Do we have anybody at $500? $500. We have $200. Dave Brown, thanks very much. How about $250? How about $250? Anybody got $250? We're getting some really nice pledges in. That's great to help the music fund. It'll be expensive to bring in for $250 from Mr. Hassler. Thank you, James. As a singer, you're probably anxious to get back into the fold, get the choir robe on, do your rehearsing, and start singing. Any other $250? Anybody else at $250? We have $100 from the Cadwallader family. That's fantastic for the music fund. Absolutely outstanding. You're using the chat correctly. I can see your pledges coming in. That's really, really kind and really delightful. Anybody else at the $100 level tonight? Anybody for $100 for the music fund? I know that you're out there, that you really enjoy what Dr. Riggs has done in the choir and the wonderful organ that we have. It's really a rich and important part of our ministry. Anybody else at $100 before we move on to our next category? Anybody else at the $100 level? All right, Lori, I think it's back over to you to describe what program we're going to be looking at next.
Well, what we're talking about now is what we're calling worship changes. Now, we've already had a lot of worship changes because of the having to be nimble in this COVID environment, but I am really looking forward to seeing St. John's Sunday services being live streaming. Looking forward to seeing it when I'm out of town, which has been about 70% of the last 18 months. I'm trying to stay home, but in my opinion, the ability to have people in the sanctuary and view the whole service over the internet is tremendously important to the future of St. John's, but to me personally as well. John Owens is going to describe the upcoming changes.
Hi, all. Deacon John here to talk to you about technology. This past year, we've had to move to becoming more of a hybrid church, which means technology is more important than ever. If you remember back when we were in person, the last annual meeting, we couldn't even live stream a video because the Wi-Fi was so bad. Well, since then, St. John's has revamped its Wi-Fi access across the campus. So we now have high-speed internet access throughout the whole building, which means when we gather in person, we're not going to have problems streaming that Wi-Fi anymore. Secondly, we upgraded our vestry room. We've already had a vestry meeting, a MinCats meeting, and even today, as I'm doing this video, the pilgrimage people, we met and we used our what's called an OWL on Zoom, which allowed all of us to be in person with having one camera on the whole group, and it allowed us to do our Zoom meetings better. But now the most expensive part of upgrading is how do we create a worshipful experience online once we're back into our beautiful sanctuary. And so I'm just going to kind of highlight some areas of what it would look like and what you're going to kind of see. We're still working with contractors, so the work is being a little slower than we'd like, But moving forward, what we're going to do is you're going to see right over here to my left here, we have the choir. And then up here, you can imagine there'll be 3 small microphones dangling. This is because we have to improve the sound so that our beautiful music can be heard in the live stream once we go live. Secondly, this sound system here is going to be relocated. This will actually improve the beauty of our sanctuary, so we'll be able to not have this impeding anyone's view. And it'll be moved right back here to the corner. You can kind of see just right over there, there's a desk ready to set up, and that's going to become our hub. And then when we go up there, you see where we have our fire sensor up there. Right next to it is where one of the cameras will live, as well as we'll have a second camera coming up here next to our speaker. It'll go right up here in the corner, and that will be where our second camera will live. And this will give us different angle views. And these angles will allow us to, again, make the live feed more interesting, and it'll broadcast right onto our website. But we can only do this with the help and support from you. Later, St. John's.
Thank you, John, for all your efforts and your good work. I appreciate it so much. It's absolutely terrific. Now, we're not the first congregation or school to use these services. Local Live is installing these cameras and monitoring systems, monitoring video feeds from places all over the country. So a little bit more detail, and then we'll be back in a sec. Excellent. Thank you, Sylvia Ahern, for putting that presentation together to kind of amplify what John was talking about. We had a date in there of September 28th. I think that's a little progressive. We're not quite sure if all the contracting work will be done and the installation will be taken care of. But needless to say, This is where we need your pledge of support. We already have a lead gift of $1,000 to cover the initial half of the initial $2,000 installation and equipment costs. There's $4,500 per year to pay for the technicians and the streaming service. They do all this off-site each week. That's about $90 a week for every Sunday service. Now, so that really wouldn't be even enough to hire a proper technician to be here or run a weekly Zoom service and all the time and effort that it took the staff to put those together. The work has already begun, and we're waiting for the contractors, as John had talked about, to finish the electrical and to continue to upgrade our equipment. So who can make a matching gift? A matching gift of $1,000. You missed a zero, Kathy, nice try. $1,000 to match our lead gift to help with the installation and the equipment costs. Is there anybody else that can offer $1,000? We're going to sit there for just a moment, let them see if there's anybody who has that additional funding that they can provide tonight to bring the full installation and equipment costs in line. So nobody at $1,000. Is anybody? How about $500? This is a very, very important ministry and upgrade to our technology and to our Sunday services. We've all seen how much we miss being together, but we also really appreciate those newcomers and those folks that are far away to be able to touch base with St. John's. $500 from Lori Bennett. Lori, thank you so much. $200 from the Watsons, outstanding. Peter Freeman coming in at the $100 level. Anybody else maybe at $250? Anybody around $250 that are able to help with this incredibly important activity? It's not just the $1,000 to finish off the installation of the equipment. The Joneses at $250, thank you. And $200 from the Browns, thank you. It is also the annual servicing, $4,500 a year, that currently is not in the budget because this is kind of a new item that we're working on. So anybody else at $250? Anybody else at $250? Anybody can come in on that amount? How about $100? Anybody at $100? Everybody got $100 that can spend on this? We've had some Joneses, $250 from the Lairkinds, $200 from the Pure Point Weirs. The Pure Point Weirs came in at $200. That's fantastic. Thank you guys very much. You've got young family, but you're part of the growth of the church, the ongoing future. Anybody is at $100? Anybody else at $100 for this? This is very incredibly important. Peter and John Marcuso, $250. $150 from Judy Marr for tech. It's like that with an exclamation mark. $150 tech. She's direct and to the point, and that's part of the fun, isn't it? $100 from the Walkers. Outstanding. This is great. We're getting up to that magic amount, if I'm doing my math correctly. Mr. Hassler at $100. Thanks, James. Like your shirt tonight there, aloha. More tiki than aloha, but it's still fantastic. That's great. Guys, thank you for the support around this important technology. I think it's going to be a vast, incredible new frontier that we're getting in on. And this is a way to create and grow the parish in a way that we really have not imagined, frankly, before COVID. We see $100 from the Evagers. Thank you for that support. All right, guys, want to keep the evening going, so we're going to turn it back over to the fabulous auction chairman, Ms. Lori Bennett. Lori.
Well, the next one is Vision. That since I was out of town, I didn't even know Vision had been going. And when I got back, I found out that it had blossomed into this amazing feeding program for homeless groups. But they are much better at describing this weekly marvel.
In spring of 2020, when everything was pretty much shut down, Sally Sadler and Bonnie and Jerry Moran wondered what they could do to help the growing number of homeless people in Oakland. They designed the Vision program and found a collaborator in Vincent Panizza, Pastor Vinny, a local street minister himself unhoused. They arranged weekly stocking trips to the Alameda Food Bank. They recruited 45 St. John's members, including 18 youth, to provide 200 sandwiches and hard-boiled eggs weekly, and they organized teams to bag these, along with water purchased from their own pockets, into hearty sack meals every week, then distributed to some of Oakland's most vulnerable residents. You enjoyed your summer working on Vision?
Yeah, it's been super fun and everyone here is super nice, and giving back to the community is a great opportunity.
7 kids. Hey, Linda. Hi. You came in last August, a year ago, to sub for someone on vacation, and you've been coming every week ever since, virtually, along with a house guest of yours. Why did you do that?
We were looking for something meaningful to do. And this was really fun. It was wonderful to see people on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and also to know we were doing some good in the community.
Yeah, Sally Sadler asked me to cover for her when she was off to Maine. For Pat and I started coming over. We set Pat to work wrapping eggs, and I helped bag. And we never left. During the darkest days of the pandemic, it turned out to be kind of the high point of our week. We just loved it, and we still do. It's emotionally satisfying and socially delightful. Hey, Lori.
Yeah,
You've been doing this for a while. Can you tell us what the Vision program means to you?
well, the program's been great. I really wanted to be giving back to the community in some way, and this was a perfect way to do it. We're getting food directly to the people who need it.
It means being able to help people I will probably never meet, but that are outside on the street and need to be fed.
And what are you doing right now?
I'm wrapping hard-boiled eggs. They need to be wrapped before they go in with the food we distribute so that they're clean and don't break in transit.
Nancy, and how many sack meals will you pack today?
We packed 60 meals on Wednesday, and then another crew works on Thursday.
Oh, well, it's been a pleasure having you here. You're so quiet. Okay, looks like a great day's work. Ken,
Fantastic.
what happens next?
I call Vinny, Father Vinny.
What?
Then, if he understands who I am, I tell him where I am. He comes over here in the afternoon and picks all these up, puts it into his van, and heads out to the streets and distributes to the unhomed.
Last December, a related project, Vision Warmth, provided Pastor Vinny with 60 bags of warm coats and blankets. We will repeat this project this winter. Your donations provide water, supplies, and maybe some gas for Vinny's van now and then. Thank you for your generosity.
Completely, incredibly outstanding. So volunteer run and bootstrap put together, and Vinny himself being unhoused. It's quite inspirational. It's really what our calling. So the Vision's leaders, Johnny and Bonnie Moran, Sally Sadler, they have a very modest request of support, but they also have a lead gift, a very unique lead gift of $450. It's been made in coinage, change. Marianne Bluen, whose mother passed away recently, explained to us, and I'll read her statement. We have too much stuff in our small house. I was cleaning out the front closet and found a big bag of coins that we had tucked away in the back, probably when we moved in about a decade ago. I emailed Kathy Arajo to see if the church was still collecting coins, and she said, well, yes. My husband and I gathered up the other coins around the house, and we've been meaning to cash in, well, probably forever. And we ended up with huge bags of coins, too heavy to carry. It took several trips between the car and the church office to deliver all the coins. My mom told me that if I ever held on to my spare change, eventually it will add up to something. Well, I guess it did, says Marianne. And my mom would regularly buy food for her church's food pantry. So this seems very fitting. We appreciate the many hands required to make the program successful and say thanks to everyone involved with Vision. Well, thank you, Marianne, for sharing the inspirational story about your mother and the change that you collected and brought. Absolutely terrific. That's the lead gift of $450. My guess is that Vision is here to stay as part of an important ministry here at St. John's. Say I love these little videos from Director Productions. The casting by Jesus. How about that? And the closing credits. Really very creative and fun. All right, it's time to support Vision. We've already got some lead gifts added in there. Shout out from Sarah Everger to all the Vision volunteers and $100 that she's pledging right now. 200 from the Medfords, 200 from the Krogers. Dawn Howard at $100 from Fran Toy, $50 from Katie Kroger, $250 from Reuben David and Lillian. Absolutely terrific. We have some other pledges. Judy coming in at $100. Thank you, Judy. Fantastic. John and Lee Seals at $150. Do we have other gifts? I know that. How about $250? Do we have anybody at $250? They can really kick it up there. $150 from Pat and Sylvia. That's going to buy so many important items. Things do have to be purchased. They do get things from the Alameda County Food Bank, but they do also have to go out and purchase things like water and the bags. And it's good to get some gas to Pastor Vinny, as you've heard, and to help continue to support him. $100 from the Marcuzos. Absolutely terrific. Anybody else at the $100 level? $100 from the Walkers. Christine Kwan, thank you so much for $100. And $200 from Michael Daly, Christine McQueen. Thank you, Michael and Christine and Chris. That's great. $100 from Susan Pierpoint. We've got such a wonderful group of people here with us tonight, supporting these important causes here at St. John's. This one I've been involved in too, creating sandwiches and hard-boiled eggs on every twice a month basis, and it's very, very enriching. It's absolutely terrific. Anybody else at well, another $150 from Sandra On, $200 from the Watsons, $100 from Lisa Cadwallader. Absolutely fantastic, guys. You guys are very, very generous. This is going to an important cause. Continue to use that chat. We appreciate it so much. One last shot. Anybody maybe at $50? We have a lot of $100 to $150 pledges. Maybe somebody could come in at the $50 pledge. That would buy an awful lot to keep this program running. Anybody else at the $50 level? That's great. All right, Ms. Lori, we're going back to you for another very important program here at St. John's. Thank you, Joneses. Jesse Ware, thank you, 150. You guys are great. You can keep it up. We appreciate all your support. Lori?
Yep, got to come back on camera here. The next program we want to highlight is one that's really been hiding behind the pandemic. The Gifts from God program is a family and child education program that Scott and Keller began and has expanded in the last 18 months. And they began delivering gift boxes to families with young children. And then they scheduled Zoom meetings to have a discussion on what was relevant in their lives right now. So live now from Maine.
No, not yet.
First we have
video first. Thank you, John.
Hi, I'm Scott Denman, the rector of St. John's Episcopal Church. Thank you for being a part of this auction. I want to tell you about something that we developed during the pandemic. And it all started with a profound concern for young families. What do you do for young families who can no longer come to church, can no longer meet in person? Young families under a tremendous amount of stress. I mean, just think about it. Two people usually working in the household, trying to find an office space, and also homeschooling your children while you have the added concern of their health, both physical and mental. Unbelievably stressful. So we developed this program, and the way it works is that we send a gift to each family. A gift arrives on the doorstep of every family that signed up. Then the kids can only open this gift when they establish a live Zoom link with Keller and yours truly. And then during a 15 to 20 minute lesson, we talk about faith, we talk about a lesson. When they open the gift, that gift applies to that lesson. It's something that they can use. Sometimes there's a little exercise or a spiritual discipline that they can practice with their families every day or as often as they'd like. It's a way to get children talking with their father, their mother, their sister, their brother about faith, and talking about it with us, and bringing their questions, their thoughts, and their concerns. So we had 20 children involved in this program. That's 3 times more than were active in our Sunday school program before the pandemic. So our program to young families grew during this most difficult time, and we intend to continue it with your help. So please support this auction, and also support this effort, which we will continue doing to reach families at a time that is convenient for them, that works for them. Every family is given 20 options, time slots to use that would fit with their schedule and their lives. We consider this a kind of missionary activity where God sent people out 2 by 2 to go into the world, into people's real lives. And this is a program that doesn't expect people to show up at a certain time once a week in a certain place. It's a program that reaches out beyond the boundaries of a church building, and we're tremendously excited about it. Now, just for the fun of it, we're going to share a little bit of one lesson with you that we think will be fun. In your auction packet, if you received one and asked for one to be sent to you, or you dropped by to pick one up, there is an envelope that says, "Do not open until you are instructed to do so by me." Okay, now's the time to find that envelope, but do not open it until I tell you to do so. I'm going to go live now and share with you a bit of one of our lessons that is rather magical and hopefully will be fun for one and all. So, this is a recording. I'm ending this, and now I'm going live with you with a mini lesson from Gifts from God.
And now live, while on vacation in Maine, I give you our rector, Scott Denman. Good evening, Scott.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. So good to see everybody. Thank you all for your generosity. What an amazing team that put this auction together. I marvel at all of you. Thank you, Lori. Thank you for that tremendous back and forth, Carol and George, during the cocktail hour, and Jim for emceeing all of this. I thought it would be fun for all of you to experience a little bit of a lesson. As you know, I like to do a little magic from now and then for the kids. And this was one of the ones we included when we were talking about God's love being found everywhere. No matter what hand you've been given, what cards you hold in your hand, or the feeling that cards that you don't hold in your hand, you can end up feeling sometimes abandoned. You can sometimes feel alone. But God's love follows us everywhere. Now, what I need is a volunteer, and because I don't want you to take your eyes off of the cards, I'm going to need that volunteer to raise their hand and tell me when to stop. So first of all, those of you that know how to raise your hand and are willing to volunteer for this part of the trick, please do so now, and I'll randomly grab one of you. Sarah Jones, I see your hand. Would you be willing to help out? Yes, okay, great. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep, when your hand goes back down, lower your hand a little bit now. I'm going to show you these cards, which I do with the children, and I'm telling them this story. And they're obviously all different kinds of cards. And I want you to choose one of them. So I'm going to go through here, and you just raise your hand. Where are you now? I can't see you. Did you slip to a different screen?
Right there.
This one?
That one.
This one here.
Yes.
Okay. This is your card. I'm going to turn it over, show it to you. This is the card you've chosen. Remember that card? I'm just going to put it right down here. Out of all these other cards you could have chosen, you chose the King of Hearts, which is very appropriate because the King of Hearts is such a symbol for Christ. God is, in a way, the king of love, or the queen of love, if you want to use a feminine metaphor. But the idea is that that love actually follows us everywhere. We can't actually escape that love. So much so that if you'd all like to open up your envelope, open that envelope up, take a look inside. What do you see inside? Seems that everybody has the King of Hearts. Seems that God's love follows us everywhere. Anyway, we've been having fun using these gifts to talk to children, talk to families about God, about God's infinite and unconditional love, and how that plays out in our lives. So we're so grateful to continue this program into the coming year. Obviously, we're going to need it. Things remain stressful and complicated for families, and your support means so much. So back to you, John and Jim.
Thank you, Scott. That is incredible. And I'm sure the youth of the parish really enjoyed that trick, especially when you blend in a very important spiritual message. So absolutely fantastic. So thanks very much for setting this all up for us. This is actually kind of easy now to make some magic and start to pledge some support for the gifts of God. The expenses are modest. They're about $100 a month, but I think it's critically important to have the programming taken care of. So what a terrific time with Scott tonight as he's 3,000 plus miles away up in Maine, enjoying his time with Candace on vacation. So can we have an opening pledge of $100? Anybody at $100?
Jim, you have a video. You have a video.
Oh, I beg your pardon. So very sorry. apologies, John. Thanks for reminding me of the extra video on there. That's great. Sensational. Doug Wong and the group he's with say that the two things that Scott reminds us about is that after magic trick is done is do it again. And how did you do it? And so I'm sure if we were live and in person, that's exactly what would be happening. So Peter Freeman's in for a $50 support. We are in a place where it takes about $100 a month to support this wonderful gifts from God. Do I have anybody else that, oh yeah, Sarah Jones says, this adult is wondering how we did it. Yes, well, it's magic after all. Do we have another, Fred Torian for 50, this is great. Sarah Jones said, I'll give 50 for the answer. No, it don't work that way. Sandra on 150, 50 from Keller. Lauren Tristan Weir at 100, Tim Hart for 100. This grandma can testify that it is a wonderful program. Thank you, Judy, for Jackson for passing that on at $50. $100 from Susan Pierpoint, $200 from David Brown. This just in, Kathy Araujo says $100 for magic for her. This is great. It's not just the magic tricks, kids. You understand that, right? Programs beyond that. That's just one of the many things that Scott and Keller bring to this amazing program. And it does connect to families who are away or felt distance or aren't safe, feel they're not safe coming into the church building quite yet. The Joneses at 50, Susie at Tyndall for 50, $200 from Dave Brown. David and Carol Brown are giving, but you don't have an amount, but that's okay. I think maybe it's up further in the chat. This is great. Anybody else that want to offer for this fantastic new program for St. John's to help our youth out for the gifts from God? It's outstanding. Because Scott is still on the line and still with us, we're gonna $100 from Bonnie and Jerry Moran. Thanks, guys. Absolutely terrific. $100 from Lori Bennett for the gifts from God. Super. One of the only really live auction item, actual thing that we're bidding on tonight is one of the most popular items in our semi-annual auctions, and that is the choice of sermon that Scott will prepare. So Tim Hart was one of the recent winners, and he reminded me that he got to select the readings that Scott had to then craft his sermon around, and he decided to choose some of the most difficult readings from the Bible. So think of the passage from Leviticus that says that homosexuality is an abomination, or the psalm ending with the bashing of the children's heads on the rocks. Or the second reading was a passage from Timothy saying that women should stay silent. How about that to preach on, huh? And the gospel, of course, was when from Matthew, when Jesus asked his followers to cut out their eyes out and their hands off when they were causing sin. So Tim was able to craft all of those together, and Scott put together a sermon. So he's a very clever man, that Tim Hart. So what will your subject be? What will be your subject? What will be your readings? You get to choose all that. You get to choose the date in which it gets to be presented. Do we have an open? It's a live auction now, guys. So the dollar amount is going to go up from the opening bid. This is a live auction. This is not just offering a pledge of support. So one person is going to take this away tonight. So we're going to start with a $150 opening pledge, an opening bid at $150. Do we have anybody at $150? Don't be shy. Don't remember, Scott's still listening. So 150. Tim Hart again. Don't let him get it again. Kathy Ryder 150. I need 175. I need 175. We have 150. Do we have 175? We weren't quite fast. 175, Kathy. Thank you so much. Anybody? Scott Dimon, you don't get to pledge on yourself. I saw something come up with your name of $176. That doesn't count. We're looking at a $200 pledge. A $200 pledge. Certainly, Kathy. Sylvia Ahern at 200. Sarah Jones at 200. Do we have 225 from anybody? Anybody at 225? Sylvia and Sarah, you both came in at 200 by the same time. Tim Hart came back. He wants to do it again. 225, 225, 250. Kathy Araujo. Kathy's been around the church a long time. I'm sure she knows subject matters and hymns, and Ruben and David have come in for 275. That's absolutely fantastic. How about 300? You have 300 from anybody on the floor, in the Zoom, in your bedrooms, in your living rooms. 300 from Sarah Jones. Fantastic. This is great. $350. Kathy Araujo stepping it up. All right, we're gonna take it to 400. Kathy Rajo is our current high bid at 350. Anybody at $400? Tim Hart, we lost track of you. Where'd you go there, young man? We know you're still out there. $400, Mr. Hart. Thank you very much. How about 450? Anybody at 450? Don't let these guys who have done it before do it again. Come on, we can have some cleverness going along here. $450, Kathy Rajo. $450 is our current bid. This is fantastic. So do we have anybody at $500? Nice even number, $500. Tim, we're still waiting on you there, man. Where are you? Are you gonna come with us? We've also lost some of the others over there. Sarah Jones, who were hanging around for a little bit. 450, Kathy is our current bid. Anybody at 5? So Tim will match if Scott will do 2. Scott, would you consider doing 2 sermons? Is that fair?
I think he asked if I would do the sermon. So I tell you what, I'll do it. I'll throw my name in the ring.
Okay, all right. So it feels like what we got going here, kids, is Tim Hart has Deacon John doing his sermon, and Kathy Rajo has Father Scott. Is that what I'm understanding here from the floor? Everybody good? Thumbs up from Kathy, thumbs up from Tim Hart, Deacon John, Scott, you got your work cut out for you. I cannot wait. So we're closing the bidding on this, 450 twice, 1 from Deacon John, 1 from Father Scott. Sensational. Good luck. I'll be praying for you all. Lori, back to you. You're muted, pal.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're staying on the youth and family theme here. St. John's has a report from a consulting group called Ministry Architects that talks about the health of the church's youth and family program. So the vestry and the personnel committee will be using this as they now have to search for Keller's successor because she's retiring in December. I don't believe this is news to anybody, but it is a big change after she's been here for 35 years and influenced so many of our children. So let's hear from Keller.
Hi, I'm Keller Smith, the Youth and Family Minister here at St. John's Church. Can you guess where I am? It's a place we haven't seen much in the last 2 years. I am inside our parish. And as much as everyone has missed being inside buildings in our church, the youth especially have been affected by this. They were so excited to keep their community going that we met over Zoom quite often. We decorated Christmas cookies. We played games online, and we even decorated our mirrors. I find that you will find that kids are resilient. But now that we can meet outside, no matter the weather, we will continue to have fun getting ready for the mission trip for 2022. You can get involved with C&C programs starting in September. You can also join the youth choir starting in September with Ben. Or you could help volunteer throughout the different jobs here at St. John's. Our youth will have the ability and the joy of being back in person, together, with or without masks, and you will find them greeting their old friends and making new friends. There's no better way to be in community.
Thank you, Keller, very much for your 35 years of dedication to St. John's, their youth, and their families. Absolutely remarkable. So many of the youth projects are supported through various fundraisers throughout the year, but they need your assistance now to create a foundation of support. So here's some upcoming major activities that have a long history here at St. John's. Thank you for that very, very much. As some of you may know, I grew up in St. John's, and the youth program was an incredibly important part of my teenage years, and I still remain very close friends with some of the individuals and friends and youth that we grew up with here at St. John's. So it's absolutely terrific. So we've got some programming planned for this next year, including the youth group and pizza club and the confirm not conform. They need support, plus the youth program just on an annual basis. This is a great way to honor Keller's legacy. And she reminded me, corrected me, 38-year legacy at St. John's. Absolutely fantastic that she's retiring in December. So what do we got? Can we get some support for the youth program? Can somebody start off with a lead gift of $200? Somebody have a lead gift of $200? Anybody support our youth tonight for $200? Put it in our founding partnership here tonight to get Ruben and David. Lillian will be part of the youth in coming years. So they're starting off with a $200 pledge support. Thank you, Ruben and David. Anybody else at a $200 that can come in and assist our youth? $200 from Susan Pierpoint, whose children have gone on. Mr. Hassler coming in for $200. Absolutely fantastic. This is a great way to show the church that the future are in our youth. $200 from Laura Pierpoint and Tristan Weir. Thank you so much. Anybody else at the $200 level? Don't be shy. The youth will appreciate it so very much. Again, a great way to honor Keller and what she's all about. Use the chat down at the bottom. It's absolutely terrific. Bonnie and Jerry Moran for $200. Absolutely sensational. How about the $100 level? Can somebody bring in a $100 level to support our youth? You guys are being so very generous tonight. Many of you have made multiple pledges, and that's great. The Joneses coming in at $100. $150 from the Marcusos. Susie is in. Susie Tyndall is in for $100. One of my dear friends that I have met through the St. John's Youth Group. We've got a trifecta, 25 from Pierce Medford, Elizabeth Kroger, Katie Kroger, each $25 each. Youth showing up to support the youth. You gotta love that. $100 from the Walkers, Christine Kwan at $100, Lori Bennett for Keller's Legacy, donating tonight $100, and Fran Toy at $100 as well. We're clicking right along in this incredible fundraising drive tonight and this auction. It is 6 o'clock. We want to keep things moving. We promised we'd get done between now and 6:30. So we're going to turn it back over to you, Lori, to discuss another very important and amazing program that bubbled up due to COVID.
In 2020, St. John's definition of the 12 days of Christmas began on December 18th and ended on December 29th. That was because in early October, when Reverend Scott lamented the loss of indoor Christmas services, he wondered if something could be done in the parking lot, maybe? And the first St. John's Christmas drive-through was begun. A core committee of staff, including Scott, Keller, John, and Steve, and ministry catalysts Carol Brown, Lori Bennett, Carolyn George, and the vestry, Laura and Katie Kroger, and really major players of Judy Jackson, Helen Nicholas, Tina Papanek, John Seals, Abby Smith, brainstormed ideas and pooled talents, and voila! The 40 families signed up to staff the production, and Abby Smith ended up as the nightly manager, kind of grew into it to instruct the volunteers to assemble the gift bags and respond to new and improved suggestions. Think a radio channel for cars to hear the narrated nativity story. Treat bags for cars who came through with dogs, and collecting socks and coats for the vision homeless. And here is Abby to describe some of the activities.
Hello all. You may recognize me from church or as Keller's daughter, but my name is Abby, and I was the one who directed the Christmas drive-through. So last year you might have seen me with some fancy Christmas lights and a safety vest, but I'm here to remind you guys that we can do this all again this Christmas. We just need all of your help. So thanks to all the volunteers from last year. We had 600 cars over the course of the nights that we held it, and over 1,000 people showed up. So all thanks to you guys, and we hope to make it happen again because we know it was so special to you and it was so special to us. So thank you all so much.
Thank you, Abby, very, very much, and thank you for your hard work this last December. So to repeat this incredible drive-through this December, the lights will need to be reinstalled on the church and the trees, along with the decorative lights that lit up the nativity scenes. We do have some of the pieces and parts left over from last year, but it would cost about $13,000. And so here's a quick video to remind you of how glorious the drive-through was. Absolutely fantastic. What a great set of memories from last December on this wonderful drive-through. So we're going to try to repeat it again this December. We would really hope for some support right now. So who can step up with an opening pledge of $200 to help out? A $200 pledge for the Nativity drive-through, 12 days of Christmas. It's a great, amazing outreach to get our community and our neighbors to get into our parking lot, meet who we are. We developed some handout materials to invite people back as best we could to have them join us on Zoom. We also collected coats for the homeless program that Pastor Vinny was able to distribute for us. So Brown pledges $200. Thank you, David Brown. Anybody else at $200? We have somebody else to come in at the $200 level to support the Christmas drive-through. Anybody else at $200? Somebody else can help us out to make this program worthwhile. It's going to be very expensive to get the lights back up. I have to hire a contractor to do a lot of that work. We also really do deserve to pay Abby and an associate for their time each night. And so that's also part of the funding that's needed to make this program work. Anybody else to come in for the Christmas drive-through at a $200 level or a $100 level, if you're feeling that that is something more comfortable for you at the $100 level, that would be outstanding. If anybody can get into that, we would certainly appreciate it. It's such an amazing and appropriate time to showcase what the campus is all about and our parking lot and what the church has to offer to our community. It's been a remarkable brainstorm that just sort of bubbled up, and then this incredible team ran with it to make it all work. We got Sandra on and for $100. Thank you, Sandra. That's fantastic. Anybody else that could give us a pledge of support tonight? Keller Smith, $100. That's outstanding. Your daughter is so very incredible helpful with this amazing program. That works really well. The Cadwalladers in for $100. That's fantastic. So we'll be able to make this program be very successful. And the hope is that we'll able to invite people from the drive-through into live church inside. And certainly we'll be able to tell them to come and stream. If they don't want to be inside, they don't have the ability to join us inside. $100 coming in is a great way to support that vision and that outreach that we're going to be having during this Christmas season is so very important to so many people. So we're going to move on right now into another subject matter. This is not a gift to support, but just a good information about what we're some of the campus is all about. Lori?
Yep, the church property maintenance is actually part of the annual operating budget. And for 2021, we budgeted about $24,000 for sexton wages, maintenance and repairs. Probably 2022 will allocate a similar amount. There are some property reserves and some capital maintenance funds that were used for the church painting that you saw and other projects this year. And Laura Kroger, who's the head of the campus committee, will tell us a little more.
Hi, I'm Laura Kroger. I'm part of the campus committee. We formed the campus committee to help maintain and improve our campus. One of the projects we took on to give our entrance more visibility and to give ourselves more street presence is a new entrance sign. Another project we completed was installing a split rail fence along Golden Road. This summer, the campus committee had the exterior of the education building and the sanctuary painted. For long-term planning and upcoming projects, the vestry has hired a master planning consultant. Please help support this exciting new venture.
Laura provided some additional information for us about the future projects. This master planning consultant is very important. So future planning and prioritization will be part of a very important and thoughtful process. There will be probably a large capital campaign to fund these projects, so we don't want to confuse with what the proceeds are going to tonight. This is not really a capital campaign. We had a reserve study done on our facilities and a lot of deferred maintenance, Laura is telling us, that need to be done on the buildings. Not as exciting to talk about, but I think it resonates with people that we're good stewards of our property and our rental properties. And the reality is the upkeep of an older building is going to be expensive. We have another video to show.
I love that we're kind of being shown in this martial way. It's like, where are the warriors coming to do all the painting? Our last showcase for the night is Saints and Sinners softball team. And would everyone who has ever played on Saints and Sinners or any family member just kind of raise your hand to kind of show that it's been going for 30 years or more and plays in the Piedmont Recreation League. And it's been a fixture of summertime for St. John's. And this video will bring back some memories.
outstanding. I mean, it is supported by the player entry fees to Piedmont Rec Department. But the equipment and the shirts are really getting old and they need replacement. And actually, Sarah would really like to be able to offer some scholarships to people who can't afford to pay for the annual registration fee. So who's available at $100? $100 of the cost? Oh, we got another trailer. Go ahead, John. Myself, sorry. Hello, now I'm back. Hello. Really wonderful smiling faces and great athleticism and great fun. So we've already gotten a pledge of support from Tom and Nancy Lerkine, our Piedmonters that can support that. That would be fantastic. Is anybody else that could get a pledge of support of $100 to help purchase some equipment, take care of some scholarships, to work for this incredible cause of the Saints and Sinners softball team playing in the Piedmont League. That's fantastic. Anybody at a $100 level that can come in and assist with that would be completely outstanding. And 100 from the Marcusos. Thank you very, very much, Gene and Peter. What else do we have going? Anything else out there to assist us? We're wrapping things up for the evening. I just want to remind you, Lori Bennett and Chris McQueen, in honor of the fabulous, wonderful Gordon McQueen. That's great for the Saints and Sinners. He was one of the originals. And $100 for the youth, for Keller. And Tom and Nancy are going to bump up their gift to $250. Luckily, we're recording the chat, so we're going to be able to track all this stuff and pour it back into the Bidding Owl format. And that's great. And the Joneses, Sarah, who's the coach and manager of the team, is supporting her mission, her cause with a $100 gift, which is absolutely fantastic. So I think we're going to stop there. Lori, you've got some final words before sending us home.
I do. We are almost done, but we'll give you one last chance to use that refunded COVID vacation money to support and acknowledge the ministries that we didn't showcase tonight, like the Rector's Discretionary Fund, Genesis, Social Justice Sponsorship, worship supplies for Altar Guild, Flower Guild, Hospitality Fund, which buys the Sunday coffee and supplies, scholarships to Bishop's Ranch, and many, many more. There are more than 40 ministries at St. John's, and they do get supported, but this is your chance to really pony up right now.
Thank you, Lori. That's great. Sarah Evinger is bringing a $200 gift to the Rector's Discretionary Fund. That's absolutely fantastic. Lori, I want to first of all say a huge thank you to Deacon John Owens in the background, making the Zoom presentation smooth. I know I jumped a couple places and forgot and went over and all that. You know, it's live, right? What are you going to do? Lori, who do you have?
I have that while you continue to put your money in for the general good of the order, you might say, this was a monster undertaking that had more than 30 people on the committee, but I want to give a shout out to 9 who've just been, I couldn't have even begun to fathom this without their help. Carolyn George and Ken Fuller, Judy Marr, Sylvia Ahern, Pat Harden, John Owens, Jim McIlvain, Kathy Arajo. All of you were just phenomenal in saying when I said, I don't know how to do that, being able to say, well, I do. And all the video makers, Laura Kroger, Katie Kroger, Sylvia Ahern, Ben Riggs, Abby Smith, Keller Smith, Sarah Jones, but especially our Reverend Scott Denman for getting behind the trailer projects. Thank you. Thank you all.
You guys have been absolutely fantastic. And I just want to pause here for a moment and say an amazing thank you to Lori Bennett for all her incredible work of bringing it all together. Absolutely fantastic. We're here as a community, and Lori, we thank you so very, very much. So we're going to leave the Zoom going for a little bit longer. You can have another little extra social time with one another. We're going to then probably replay. So we're going to stay on Zoom, John, for people to still chat and say good evening and hello to each other. And then afterwards, we'll then play the opening presentation one more time. Also, remember, you can go to Bidding Owl until tomorrow night, Monday night at 5 p.m. to update your silent auction bids and look at some of those remarkable gatherings of wonderful offerings. It's Bidding Owl / St. John's Oakland. So biddingowl.com / St. John's Oakland. So auction volunteers in the background are collecting all this amazing pledging and bidding, and they'll end up by the end of the week to send a single invoice emailed to you, thanking you for your pledge of support, and you can pay it at that time. Judy Mars just put in the chat the link if you want to go there, log in, and check out some of the items that are there for bid and pleasure. So stay on Zoom for a little bit longer, folks. We appreciate your time, your talents, your efforts, your resources, your donations. St. John's is a very, very special and important place, and we can't wait to see everybody in person very, very soon. Thanks again. Good night.
Thank you, Jim.
You may unmute yourself.
Thanks, Jim. Very well done.
And Lori.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yes, so much fun.
Thank you. Great job, Jen.
Those are hilarious. Great videos.
Yes,
absolutely.
Wonderful. Well done.
Way to go. Videos were wonderful.
Yeah.
I
Thanks, Jen.
totally enjoyed them. Thoroughly enjoyed them.
Lori, you
Marianne,
think a lot
I
of
can
people,
attest.
but you are the winner. You are it.
Yeah. Good job.
It's the team,
all
it's
seem
the team that's in. But I would like some feedback. I don't know that we will ever do it this way again, but I would love to have your feedback in the chat about ways to improve or things that you especially like that we have to do again. I'd really appreciate your feedback. That'd be awesome.
All I can say is, Marianne Bluen, I can attest to the fact that those coins weighed a whole heck of a lot. It's amazing. I came into the office and they were in my chair.
Hey, Lori, do you want to mention to everyone on Bidding Owl how you actually sign up for some of the parties? Because it's a little different than just placing a regular bid.
It is not a regular bid. When you log into Bidding Owl, and you, at the very top it says view item.
Get it to go off speaker.
And view, and then you have to